What a game we have in store, especially when you consider, Owen, that Liverpool are in uncharted territory so far this season. Back-to-back defeats, and now they have to bounce back.
Yeah, and to be fair, they were coming. You know, I think in every game they won late, and not even late, like past Fergie late. Late. So then the Szoboszlai one against Arsenal, I think that was in the 82nd minute. The rest of them were like 90 plus with incredible winners. So defensively, the balance isn't there, the shape isn't there. Obviously, they're trying to integrate all these players, Isak and Wirtz, who are amazing players. But I just think the balance isn't there and they're not the same defensively. So I think, honestly, that will go back to tried and tested from last season. That midfielder of Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, and go back to being defensively solid. Obviously, Konate's made a couple of mistakes lately after such a brilliant season last season. So, but Chelsea are, they're not at their absolute best. I was at the Bridge on Tuesday. They didn't play brilliant against Jose Mourinho's Benfica. So this is a huge game for both teams.
Yeah, well, since we have an official Defenders Union rep here with us on the couch, let's get Charlie's thoughts on Liverpool's defence. And as we look at some of the goals that they've conceded so far this season.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, I say a little bit stop-start with Liverpool this season. I say Konate's had a couple of moments. It's a great finish from Semenyo. I think Konate's probably the one that everyone's looked at. And their fullbacks have changed as well, which I think has been a big thing. Kirkhead's coming in from Bournemouth. Frimpong coming in from Leverkusen, I think it is, and they haven't really settled, I think, this season. And I think it will take time, as much as you want things to click straight away. I think it will take time, but once it does, they are going to be a threat. And listen, the firepower that they have is a match for anyone. That's why they won the league last season.
Yeah, toughest period for Arne Slot right now. You mentioned Florian Wirtz. I think he's come under a lot of fire recently, as you mentioned, upsetting the balance. If you're Slot, do you drop him?
I don't think he'll play, just because he's a fantastic player and he's going to come good. Don't worry about that. But I just think right now they've got to get back to being defensively strong. You look at some of those goals they've conceded. The balance in midfield's not there. And when you try and integrate new players, especially ball players like Wirtz, it takes a bit of adjustment. So. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for Allison, they would have conceded 6 against Palace. I mean, they were so outplayed in the first half. It was actually unbelievable. So I think it'll go back to tried and tested from last season, where they were brilliant defensively. Yeah. And then he'll end up playing. He'll integrate Wirtz and he'll integrate Isak. But you think about Ekitike, who's a fabulous player. And Charlie made a good point about the 2 new fullbacks. So there's a lot of change there, and I think it's maybe a little bit too much even for the champions.
Yeah, you mentioned Allison now; he's out as well with that injury.
Yeah, but to be fair, they have probably the best reserve keeper in Mamadashvili, who's absolutely immense. So that was a steal at that money a couple of years ago from Valencia, and so he'll come in. Obviously Alisson's the best in the league, but I think Mamadashvili won't cause any issues.
Yeah, just mentally for that Liverpool team, obviously the mentality of champions, we know what they did last season, but with all the changes, with, as you mentioned a few times now, the balance of the squad going to Stamford Bridge, where do you think they'll be at? 2 defeats in a week? Yeah,
I think they'll be licking their lips really, and just trying to get back to winning ways, and as like Owen says, I think they're trying to find, and Arne Slot's probably trying to find the right formula to get that win again and get back on track. However that is, but I do agree it's bringing the new people in and embedding them. It might just take a bit more time than what he was expecting.
Yeah. We're just thinking about Liverpool and, the plans for this weekend, as I mentioned, some of the changes, some of the big calls that Arne Slot has to make this weekend. And he actually spoke about Liverpool's lack of open play goals so far this season. Let's hear from him.
We don't score as many open play goals anymore as we did the first part of last season. And this is something we work on very hard. And the more we will play together in the new setup, the better that will go.
Okay, what about from Chelsea's point of view? Do they have a disciplinary problem? 3 red cards in the last 4 games.
Yeah, well, you would say yes, I think, off the bat of it. I think if you isolate all the red cards, I think that you'd say no. I think the Sanchez one, if we're talking about that one, was a bit of a rush of blood, and he's tried to nip in front and try and get there before Buemo. So it's that kind of, if you isolate them all, I'd say no. But it's something that they probably would have spoke about and would definitely think about. So I think Maresca's again has got a big decision to make now in terms of who plays and how he's going to set up his team against Liverpool.
Yeah, a couple of concerns, especially if we're talking defences in the Chelsea defence, because now they don't have Chalobah, but Shields back for from injury.
Yeah, to be fair, he played all right on Tuesday. I mean, but to be fair, they're just mistakes. They've made mistakes in the build-up where they're trying to play. They spent a fortune on the whole team, and they probably prioritise the top of the pitch. But actually, the goalkeeper and the centre backs are probably the most important positions in any team, and they're too young. And the reason they're making mistakes is because the lack of experience. I think they need somebody in there with a bit of experience to help these young guys. That attacking-wise, that's one of the best groups of players put together anywhere. But I do think the only way you can win, the Champions League and the Premier League is with a world-class goalkeeper. And think back to that was great Chelsea team, John Terry, Carvalho, Ivanovic. They have world-class players in that position. I think until they can have a steady base in the goalkeeper and two centre-backs, I think it could be tough for Chelsea.
Do you think they have a discipline problem?
Well, 3 red cards in a row says, yeah. but in the end, young guys are going to make mistakes. They play a really aggressive style of football. Andre Santos plays a poor ball back and it puts Chalobah in a world of trouble. The Sanchez one, he's just got to stay in his goal rather than and run out. And the João Pedro one on Tuesday was, probably wasn't a red. But 3 reds in a row is no good. The lads don't have any excuses. They just got to stop making mistakes.
Okay, so I've got both of your opinions now on whether Chelsea have a discipline problem given their red cards recently. Here is the Chelsea manager talking about their run of red cards.
I think most of the game where we didn't get the points is because they were game very complicated for us in terms of, again, unfortunately, red card. But no doubt that also the injury situation. We have in this moment, I think, 8 players out. So it's a mix of combination, but we don't have any doubt that slowly we're going to be again where we need to be.
Just 2 wins in 6 at the start of the season. How much pressure is he under, do you think?
I think it's building. To be honest, I think the longer it goes on, the more it's going to build. Say the money they've spent over the years should define that they should be up there, but say the injuries and the disciplinary problems that he's had, it makes it hard for Maresca to actually pick a squad for what he has, and hopefully for Chelsea's sake they need to start picking up points and picking up wins.
Yeah, no, he has a brilliant squad of players, and when they come back, you think about Colwill, Fofana. It's an exceptional group. Obviously, Lavia, I think, is another player that can help improve that team. I think the squad's good, but I think he's going to need those centre backs to come back to fix it. Like Cole Palmer, they need him. He's one of the best in the league when he's fit and healthy. I love the top of the pitch. I'm just a little bit worried about the other side of the pitch for Chelsea.
Yeah, they finished last week's game with 2 19-year-olds at centre-back. So interesting to see what happens for them. Chelsea-Liverpool.
I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I think it's going to be quite cagey. I'm going to go for both teams, I think, have to win. I think it's going to be a short score draw, 1-1.
Liverpool under a bit of pressure, 2 losses in a row, obviously midweek against Galatasaray. I think, obviously, it's at the Bridge. I think Liverpool win. I think champions bounce back. I think they win 2-0.